our dear friends that we met at Seva. Thank you all. It's really a pleasure to see you again. We weren't planning to meet so soon again, but somehow the Baba arranged it so that we are again with you all. It's such a pleasure. Thank you so much. You've all heard my story at Seva, so I'll give a little bit of background. You all know this book called It So Happens. It's a book published in Australia by Bill LePage. And the first story is of my mother. I think many of you are already familiar with that story and book, so I won't go into detail of that. But you must have seen my mother performing Baba's Aarti in many of the movies, the Baba movies that we all have seen. And the first time I performed Aarti in front of Baba was in 1962. Because as a young girl, I came to Baba with my parents, and there were no doubts in my mind that Baba was God. And when I saw all those little children at Seva coming with their parents, I thought of my own self going with my parents to Baba and having no doubts at all about his divinity. These children were very, very special and very lucky, very fortunate. People who come to Baba through their parents, they kind of waste no time because they just trust their parents, and when their parents tell them that Baba is God, Baba is our master, He's our Lord, so they just take it and they don't doubt about it. The time when my parents came to Baba in 53, it was in Dehradun. So I would like to tell you something about Dehradun. Dehradun played a very special role in New Life period of Baba, and even before that he was contacting us near Dehradun, in Rishikesh and Haridwar, going right up to these high mountains in Missouri. And it was in Dehradun that Baba gave the Kavadiga prayer, Master's prayer. So it's so beautiful over there. And Baba asked all his lovers to recite this prayer at least once a day. So I'm sure all of you know this prayer very well. That was given in Dehradun. The another message that Baba gave in Dehradun was highest of the high. In that message, it was given on the 7th of September 1953. And Baba declares himself openly that he is the avatar of the age. And he told so many people in Hamirpur also, in Meherstana, when he declared himself as avatar in Meherstana, Hamirpur, and asked all those people to shout out loudly, avatar MeherBaba ki jai, 7 times on that small hill. It's a very, very beautiful and a special place in Hamirpur. The third message that Baba gave on 1st November 1953 was about the real darshan. Now, I'm not going through all these messages because they're all in print and they are in practically every book, and everyone knows about these messages. It's a beautiful message, the real darshan, and you must have all seen this movie where the small children from school bring a huge garland in front of Baba, because the principal was a Baba lover, and instead of having each child garlanding Baba, he made a long garland, and all these small kids, about 50-60 of them, were holding this and coming in front of Baba, and Baba was so happy. They put a garland, a crown kind of made of flowers on Baba's head, and Baba was looking so radiant. That was also on the 1st of November 1953. The other message that he gave on the same day was about suffering. And we all felt that it was given to Baba for my mother, because that was the year when I had lost my older sister. She died in a childbirth, and my mother was very upset. And that was also the time when after the India became independent, they nationalized all these princely states. So my father had his state and their state was taken away, and then they brought out some old income tax case against him, and he had to, he was really upset mentally, and later on fought the case in the court of law and won it. But that was a very critical time. Me and my brother, we were very small, and we were going to Baba with our parents. Baba had taken 2 houses next to my father's house. If any of you have been to Dehradun, you will see that house. It's a very beautiful house. There was a mast in that house, which was next to our house. And Baba used to come to see the mast, and Bhauji was in charge of that mast. Bhauji had come to Baba also in 52, 51, and he was supposed to look after this mast. But whenever Baba would come to see the mast, if he was kept clean and all, the must would do something on the bed and, dirty the bed or do something or other, and Bhauji would get a scolding. And Baba would be furious that Bhau didn't look after the must properly. One day it so happened that Bhau was very clean. He washed the clothes. He had just come out from the college. He'd never done any washing ever, so he blistered in his hands and palms and washing this must and bathing him, washing his clothes. And he was very happy that now Baba is coming, and he was very happy to see this must in such a nice, clean surrounding. But as soon as Baba entered the room, the wall collapsed. The wall fell down for the old house. Luckily, it didn't fall on the must, so it fell on the other side, and Baba was very furious. At night, this must told Bhau that you're going to pass your exam. Bhauji had given an exam for MA, Master's in some, he's got 2-3 degrees now, I don't know exactly which one it is, MSc or something. So he said you would come first class and you would pass. Before that, Bhauji used to think that he is a madman, and he was doing whatever he was doing to serve the must because of Baba, because he loved Baba very much. So Bhauji said, oh, well, he's a mad guy and maybe he's just saying something. But next day the telegram came that Bhauji had passed the examination. After that, Bhauji started, respecting this. So my parents came from a very Hindu Orthodox family. They had lots of rites and rituals and prayers and ceremonies and feeding of the Brahmins and, non-stop prayers day and night for 20 days, 21 days, 7 days and all that. And during my grandfather's time, it was a custom that any sadhu who would pass through our state going to Haridwar, which is a very holy place on the bank of the river Ganges, he would be given a blanket and free rations, because from our state to Haridwar, there were no cities, no towns, no villages. It was all forest. Now, of course, it's all full of people. A lot of population in that area now. So, my father had seen many sadhus and people, those miracle men and all that, who would produce green almonds from anywhere, just like that. My father would ask them, just get me green almonds, and like that. Green almonds are grown about 1,000 miles away from us in Kashmir. And things like that, barfi, sweet from any royal court with a stamp, because whenever the food used to come in front of the Rajas, it was tasted in the kitchen by someone else, so that it wasn't poisoned or something. And then that man who was in charge of the kitchen would put a seal of that state, and then the food would come. So he would get that sweet meat with the seal of that state and give it to my father. So when my father saw Baba, he was not sure who Baba is, because he had seen all these sadhus and holy men and miracle men and all kind of people, but never anyone like Baba. And my father had not seen God, so he could recognize Baba. When the Baba gave this message, I am highest of the high, straight away my father accepted him. But then again he said, but Baba, how do we pray to you? And then this master's prayer was there, same time came into print, and he was very happy. And he was the one who translated this prayer into Hindi. And it appeared in a Hindi magazine called MeherBabaLibrary, which was published by Pukar, you all know Pukar, in Hamirpur. This Baba had actually come to our state in 47 or 49, but we do not know. He went around our fort, a castle which is now almost 800 years old. Two of the towers had already collapsed and it's a very huge big place. And there was a monk he used to sit outside this wall of a castle, and Baba contacted him. He crossed the river to come onto the our side of the state from Najibabad. Any of you who have read MeherBabaLibrary, if you see under N, you will find the mention of our state, Kanpur, and how Baba forded that small river in Tonga and contacted this monk. So Baba was kind of sowing the seed of his love and getting close to his people, but we did not know at that time. Since me and my brother were educated in Dehradun, my father had built a very beautiful house and we were mostly in Dehradun, and that's how we met Baba in Dehradun. There used to be a tree next to our house, which is kind of a bamboo, or you can call it a cactus, which flowers only once in 100 years. And after that, it died. So, since my mother was very upset after my sister's death, my father would take her out to see this blossom. These blossoms, they were beautiful white blossoms like bells hanging from this bamboo. And they had beautiful fragrance. And whenever we would go, I would also go with them. Baba would pass, just at that time. And many times we asked Baba, I hope we are not disturbing you. And Baba said, no, I've got my nazar on you. Don't worry, I'm very happy with you. And my mother would be very happy. And then she met Baba, and you read that story, first story in this book called It So Happened, how he promised my mother that he would bring back my sister to life. And he was very upset that Baba is giving this kind of promise, and he always breaking promise what he says. So Baba said, no, don't worry, that's what she wanted. And I'm here to give to people whatever they want from their heart. I will give them back, and don't worry, she will have so much of my love that she will forget her daughter. And it really happened the same way. Because once we were in Guru Prasad, and my mother was sitting next to Baba, and Baba said, how are you, and all that. And she was saying, I saw, Baba, you said that I will see my daughter in the dream, and then she would appear. And but now she's gone and dead. So Baba said, don't worry, I can bring back anyone back to life, even if they are dead for hundreds of years. I'm God, don't worry. And next day when she was sitting next to Baba, Baba just held her hand like that and said, are you happy? Do you love me? And she said, yes, Baba, I love you very much and I'm very happy. Baba said, you love me more or you love your daughter more? And she said, Baba, I love you more. And then Baba, released himself from that promise. You must have all heard the story about money, when Baba promised money to get a tricycle. And then Money said, Baba, where's my tricycle? You swore that you will give me that tricycle, and you swore by that chicken, and Baba said, oh, that chicken died. And I remember one of the Westerners on Money's birthday gave her a tricycle in MeherBabaLibrary, and there's a picture of Money sitting on the tricycle. So, Baba being a master psychologist, he knew who wanted what, and he could handle every situation so beautifully with all his love, and people would just want his love and nothing more but his love. First time when Baba was walking across this place from one house to another, my mother said, well, Baba is like one of the gods. I'm sure he could fly, and he's just walking so that we could see him walk. Otherwise, he can easily fly. Now you know that in Hindu mythology we have 36 million gods and goddesses. God for everything, like God for fire, God for water, God for food, God for wealth, and there's many gods and goddesses. So my mother always, right from the beginning, thought Baba was some kind of a god and he could fly. And then after a few months, my aunt had a grandson, and my mother and all of us went to her place, which was about 70-80 miles away from Dehradun. And both my aunt and my mother saw Baba going from, they had a very big house with a courtyard, you must have seen these old Indian houses. And this huge big courtyard, and Baba went from one wall to the other wall, huge courtyard, they could see Baba like that. Baba showed her that, of course I could fly. It's because of you, so that you don't get awed. He can come to you as a human being. When my aunt did not believe in Baba, my mother said to her that you can ask one thing, once you can test Baba. You can ask anything from him. So my aunt said, really? He said, yes, anything. But once he proves himself, then you can't ask anything, even if he cuts your throat, or murders you, or makes you poor, or anything, then you can't ask anymore. So it was very hot, and there was a fan going on, ceiling fan going on, full speed, and my aunt said, well, the Baba is God, the fan should stop. And all of a sudden the fan stopped. So, like, if you switch off the fan, it would take some time to stop. It will go slow, and then finally it will come to the stop. But the fan stopped just like that. And my aunt just folded her hand to Baba's picture, and then she embraced my mother and said, you were telling the truth, Baba is God, Baba is Ram, because she believed in Ram. Baba, I had when I was in Portland just 2-3 days ago, first they had a very nice gathering. It was kind of a potluck dinner, and we were sitting out in the garden, and then I sang some songs and told some stories. And then later on we went to Mescoville, which is on the ocean, near the ocean. And there were about 20-30 people, Baba lovers. 2-3 families were not Baba lovers. So they asked me for some experience. So I never go into these experience and planes and all those stuff. So I was really nonplussed what to say to them. Then I remembered this story, and I said, well, generally I don't talk about these experiences because Baba's love is experience enough. Even that you can't describe. It's so beautiful. I've had love for my children, my parents, my brother, sister, my husband, and everyone, my friends, but nothing like Baba's love. You just can't describe that love. It's so beautiful. So please try to say something about the experiences. Then I remembered that once I sang a song in front of Baba. Baba was sitting in a sofa chair like this, and I was sitting like this singing. And I have a very bad habit of not remembering the words of the song. So I always carry a book. At that time my book was left in a hotel. So I took another lady with me who was prompting me, telling me the words because I was getting very nervous. Baba was sitting like this, and she was prompting the words, and I sang, and Baba was very happy. And it was Guru Nanak's song. So Baba first stopped the darshan and said, well, this was not an ordinary song. It was words of God. Guru Nanak was a perfect master, and the song was written by him, and like that. And then he embraced me. When he embraced me, I just fainted in his arms. And Eric was standing next to me and saying, Kusum, get up, Kusum, get up. And I just completely looked by the sound. At that time, I heard a fantastic sound coming out of Baba's head, and I didn't know what it was. And I got up, and of course Baba took me and wrote his speech and said, oh, you know how he praised you to high heaven. He said, oh, very beautiful voice, oh, you sing so well. And so, you know, he gave me so much encouragement, and I was crying and smiling and blushing and coming back to my feet and almost falling down. And Adi Rani was standing there. So I asked him, I said, Adi Kaka, I used to call him uncle, Kaka is uncle. So I said, oh, thank you, son. So I asked Adi, I said, Adi Kaka, is something wrong in, I heard some fantastic sound coming from Baba's head. Something wrong over there? What kind of sound was it? And he said, be quiet, you're not supposed to, talk about these things. Forget it, it's nothing. Forget it, like that. But it always sort of, I always wondered what it was. So I told this experience to the group over there, and they said, well, what did the sound like to you? So I said, well, it was just like if a jet had flown over your head. It was overwhelming sound. I could close my ears to that sound. It was so loud, and yet it was there. And or like if you're standing on a platform, a very fast train passes by you, that kind of sound. And just then this our host, his name is Goody, you must remember, Goodwin Hardy. So Goody got up and he said, Kusum, I knew you were going to say that, because that's exactly what my wife wrote to me from Myrtle Beach, that she experienced this sound. She heard this sound while she was staying in the guest house in Myrtle Beach, and she said exact those words, that it was like a jet flown over your head. And I was really amazed, because I'm always hesitant to tell these kind of things to people, Baba lovers, because they think, well, something's wrong with her, or something. It's rather weird, you don't hear sound. And then when I was going with my parents and asking any of the mandli, they would all say, oh, shut up, there's nothing like that. You just love Baba, don't go into these things. But when I heard this, I was really amazed, because I've never found the confirmation of my experience till that time. I thought maybe I imagined, or I just sort of fainted in Baba's lap, or I don't know, maybe I didn't hear it, or I dreamt it, or it was just illusion or something. But when she said exactly in those words, I was really felt so good that
perhaps you don't know that Catherine has never met Baba, and this experience she had was only 3 or 4 years ago, while she was staying at Myrtle Beach guest house at the center, and she only saw half of Baba's sadra without his face, and heard this terrific varum sound, which Kusum describes as the sound of silence.
And then, of course, each and every thing that happened to me, I used to write to Baba. And you must have all heard that story when Mukham took me for the first time. I used to go with my parents, and then that was the first time in 61 when he took me to Baba, and he asked Baba about his story. I think I better leave it to leave that story. Well, I'll tell you something else. I used to feel sometimes very frightened at night. Like first I would feel that I'm gone out of my body, and I could see my children and my husband sort of lying down in bed. In my own body I could see from far, and then I would sort of go around and then come back into the body and with a jerk and wake up. And so I wrote, or sometimes feel a very heavy sort of pressure on my chest, as if something happening to me. So I wrote to Baba about these experiences. And he said, take my name 101 times before you go to bed. So, after that, I never had that experience. There are so many stories and experiences with Baba that I feel like now writing a book, because I keep forgetting the things, and then when I finish my talk I remember, oh, I should have told that story, I should have told that story. But now that up till 65, you all know that we were meeting Baba every year, going with my parents, meeting Baba every year. After 65, Baba stopped darshan and he went into strict seclusion, meeting very few people. In 68 October, he called people from all over the world for some special gathering, but of course he didn't call me. Sardar Muslim Sahib, who was a member of the parliament from Delhi, he had gone. And there was a new Baba lover, very nice man. He would always sit at the back in the meetings, and whenever we sang Aarti, he was always singing with us. Otherwise he would be quiet, never talk to anyone. When these people were asked to go to Baba, he felt very upset. And he said, am I such a sinner that Baba is not calling me? And I must go. And I don't care if I disobey Baba. It doesn't matter, but I'm going to go. After all, I'm also his lover. And I haven't seen him, and these people have seen Baba so many times. He's calling only those people. Why should he not call me? So I'm going to go. So in India, in the trains you have to carry your bedroll and little bit of food, because the food on the station's not so good now. Of course it's changed. It was 20 years ago. And so he wrapped up his small bedding and carried his tiffin box and water and everything, and was going to go catching the train in the evening. Now he and they have only one son who was studying somewhere out of Delhi. So this husband and wife, they were living alone in their small apartment in Delhi. And so his wife had packed the food and everything was ready. He was just going to lift his bag. And as he was going to go out of the door, he saw Baba at the entrance. And he just sat down. He was so overwhelmed when he saw Baba. And his wife, he just looked at Baba, then bowed down his head, he folded his hand, put his luggage down, and sat on the ground, and just kept sitting there for almost an hour, and crying. And his wife was over there, she was ready to go to bed. She saw him. She could also feel some vibrations in the room, and she was so happy, it was vibrations of love and happiness. And she didn't say anything to her husband, because she saw her husband's face, it was absolutely, different, and he was crying, and she said that it's better that I keep quiet and not ask any questions. For 2 hours, he kept sitting over there on the ground, and she went off to sleep. And then next morning, she asked him, what happened? You bought a ticket and you were going to go, you made reservation and everything. And then he said, look, Baba came himself. And he still comes to our Baba meetings. And when Baba dropped the body, we all had gone to see Baba. Aditya Rani telephoned me and said that if you come within 24 hours, you will have Baba's session. And we were so upset, and we were crying, and we just took the plane to Bombay. From there we took a taxi and came to Baba's tomb. I touched Baba's feet, and they were soft like roses, soft. And Baba opened one eye, just like this. And I thought maybe when Baba dropped his body, his eyes were open. So I did not notice. 3 times we went inside the room. 4 of us had gone in the plane. The other, about 15 of them had come by train. But since Adi said that we come within 24 hours, so me, my husband, and 2 other friends, we had gone in the plane. And 3 times we went inside, and we were crying. And all the 3 times Baba gave me darshan with his eyes open like that. And we got some pictures and everything. When I came back to Delhi, I thought that Baba's eyes were absolutely straight and his eyes were closed. And I said, well, what is this? Baba's eyes were open. So I asked my friends, I said, I told you that Baba's eyes were open. So they said, yes, you told us all the 3 times that we all went inside. But you were so upset and you were crying, and we didn't want to contradict you inside the tomb and say, no, Baba's eyes are closed, because we saw his eyes closed. So that was so beautiful. And Mani said, oh, stop crying, just sing. He used to sing in front of Baba. And I sang this song, which was written by my father. It means, ho raha hai meher ka ishara, vaar diye unki qadmon ke tanman. That Baba is giving us the signal to surrender to him completely and have no doubts about his divinity. This song my father had written. After 65, when Baba stopped giving darshan, my father started writing ghazals, very beautiful ghazals in Urdu, and many of them I sing. And that was the time when Baba sent me a telegram saying that open the gates of my reservoir of love and flood Delhi with my love. So every Sunday I would drive a small truck which was owned by my very good friend who had an air conditioning business, and on Sundays the shop was closed, so I would drive her truck and put about 15 or 20 Baba lovers, girls, ladies and men, and I would have harmonium, another friend would have drums, another would have those bells, and we would go in every locality and sing Baba songs early in the morning at about 6:30, 7, and then we would have those leaflets, and we throw those leaflets telling them that we are having a program in the evening. And in the evening we would have a program either in somebody's house or in the park, putting up tents or hire a hall if there is a hall in that locality. Now once it was winter times, and about 6:30, 7 o'clock, Delhi gets very, very cold, freezing cold during winter. So we had gone into some locality and we making a lot of noise, singing Baba, Baba Bolo, and those are the songs which were sung in chorus. And I was shouting on top of my voice that in the evening we're going to have this program, Baba has come, Avatar of the age, you please all come and receive his prasad of love and all that. The 2 men came and they said, please sister, don't make noise here. We will come, we will bring you milk. Milk? Why should you bring milk? He said, you can make tea there and give it to all your, friends, but please don't make any noise here. So we said, why? He said, we got those 5, 6 buffaloes, and this is the time when they milk the buffaloes, and if you make noise, you won't be able to take the milk out. So please go on and come here. But rest assured that we will definitely come and bring you something. So we used to have these kind of experiences because Baba's energy, the love was everywhere. But after 65, because he was releasing that energy, releasing his love, it was very, very strong. Very, very strong. And 66 we registered the center, our society, Baba Society. There was no organized group over there. There were just about 5, 6 Baba lovers over there. And he asked Baba's permission, I asked Baba's permission. Baba, can we register the society and, have like a president and treasurer and secretary, like so many other people have. So, and we should have organized meetings and like that. So, in 66 in January, we registered the society. So, Baba sent his cable. I'm very happy with your love and your efforts. You do all this in Delhi, and I'm very happy with you and Kusum Mukham and children and all the Baba lovers. We were just about 10 or 12 at that time. And gradually, from 65 onwards, now we have about 200 families which are on a mailing list. There must be maybe many more who do not yet know about Baba.